School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Would you please join us tonight and stand for the invocation given by Ms. Scheibel and remain standing for the pledge?
Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to come together this evening and serve our students and our community. We ask for discernment and wisdom to serve in a way that is pleasing to you. We ask your blessings for each of our students and community members. We ask all these things in your Son's precious name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Hey, folks, we have plenty of seats over here on this side of the room if you'd like to have a seat. Okay, then. Moving forward in the agenda is the greeters and the commendations, Mr. Combs.
That's right. The Manville High School Percussion Ensemble, as well as the Nolan Ryan Junior High Symphonic Band 1, were both recognized by the Mark of Excellence national recognition in their respective divisions. A few months ago, we were treated to a performance by the Manville High School Percussion Ensemble under the direction of Lou Baldraghini. This evening, we're proud to have joining us and serving as our greeters the Nolan Ryan Junior High Symphonic Band 1 under the direction of Josh Mooney, who is also newly appointed as the Shadow Creek High School Band Director. So Nolan Ryan Junior High Symphonic Band 1, come on down, please. How about a round of applause for these guys? All right, we're going to get their official picture. Parents, if you'd like to come forward and take a photo, you're more than welcome to do that, and then we will go ahead and let them introduce themselves as well. All right, please tell us who you are and what you play.
Hi, I'm Alex Cessna, and I play the euphonium. Hello, I'm Arya Patel, and I play the bassoon.
I'm Jonathan Fleming, and I play the trumpet.
I'm Alana Sampson, and I play percussion.
I'm Christina Llewellyn, and I play the bassoon.
I'm Sabrina Thomas, and I play the flute.
I'm Sophia Olalia, and I play the flute.
I'm Hannah Belen, and I play the trumpet.
Oh, we have one more. Okay. A late arrival. And who do we have here?
I'm Grace Marshburn.
And what do you play, Grace?
The flute.
The flute. All right. Another round of applause for this national recognition of Nolan Ryan Junior High. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Wait, Mr. Combs, wait.
Yes.
Would you give the mic to Mr. Mooney for just a second? And let's, yeah, I know, it's unsafe to do, but just a quick recap of this past weekend.
Oh, yeah, sorry, this is easier for me this way. Yeah, the students this past weekend, they competed at the, for places in the all-region and all-district band, along with students from all around the region, and just very, very briefly, the students from Nolan Ryan Junior High did very, very well. We're always proud of all of our students with the work that they do, but especially the learning that goes into the process of the all-region band and working on some difficult music and learning how to get up in front of people and perform, which is a really big skill, especially at this age. The students from Nolan Ryan Junior High, like I said, they did very well. We had we had a lot of students do well. They did a good job.
All right, congratulations. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys.
No, that's good. That's good.
Congratulations again, guys.
Really good is an understatement.
Over 1.5 million students took the 2014 preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test last October. Out of the 1.5 million who took the PSAT, the top 16,000 students are identified as National Merit semifinalists. These students are the highest scoring entrants in the state, and we are proud to announce Justin Ting from Manville High School as a current national semifinalist. Justin, are you here with us this evening? Well, Justin is not here, but that is an incredible accomplishment for Justin. We'll make sure that he receives his commendation at the campus. The following Manville High School students have been recognized by the National Hispanic Recognition Program as National Hispanic Scholars, which identifies academically outstanding Hispanic and Latino high school students. Each year, the honors go to about 5,000 of the highest scoring students from 250,000 juniors who took the PSAT. First, we have Paulo Obispo. Paulo? And Justino Vasquez. And many of the students that we're recognizing this evening have actually graduated and they have gone on from high school, but these are significant acknowledgments that they received as part of the AP and PSAT scores. And so we are recognizing them tonight as well. Commended students are recognized for the exceptional academic promise demonstrated by their outstanding performance on the qualifying test used for program entry. Students earning the title commended scored in the top 34,000 across the state. For Manville High School, we have Ana Rader and Mylan Ruiz. Are they here? They have not joined us either, but that's okay. We'll make sure they get their commendations at the campus. And the College Board Advanced Placement offers several AP Scholar Awards to students who have demonstrated college-level achievement on at least 4 out of 5 AP exams. And these students have certainly graduated, but if they're here, we would love to recognize them. Suzanne Zeller, Kwang Dong, and Patricia Tai. Any of them here with us tonight? No? Well, we will get their commendations to them as well, and congratulations for their accomplishment. But we do have a commendation. I've seen her in the room, and I know that she's here, so we're going to have a big round of applause for Miss Leah Ann Bolton. If you will come on down. She is here with us tonight. And Ms. Bolton has been recognized as the Junior Achievement 2014-15 Teacher of the Year. And she was selected for this recognition by the Brazoria County Business Hall of Fame for being an advocate for junior achievement and teaching courses to students to advance their knowledge in the Junior Achievement Program. So round of applause for Ms. Leah Ann Bolton. And those are our commendations for the evening.
Thank you.
Excellent job, ladies.
Thanks.
Daniel.
Daniel.
Exciting late breaking news. We have another commendation that we are desperate to give away. Justin, come on down, come to the front if you don't mind. How about a round of applause for Justin Ting? And again, Justin is the semifinalist, the current National Merit semifinalist for Manville High School with one of the top scores in the entire nation. Justin, we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate the way you've represented Manville High School and Alvin ISD. So congratulations, Justin.
Wait. Want to take a picture?
Mom may want to take
Oh, yes, we need to make sure to get the picture for Mom. We will absolutely wait. No, not at all. No problem. Please come on down. We can wait a minute or two for a national merit semifinalist, I think. Thank you. Congratulations, and congratulations to Mom as well.
Okay, now, we are in the public hearing portion of the agenda to hear the public hearing on Financial Integrity Rating System of Texas, also known as FIRST.
Hi, good evening, Board President, Board members, Dr. Gilcrease, faculty and staff, and community members. As Ms. Harris had said, this is a public hearing, so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Okay, so you may be asking, what is the first report? Well, the first report is basically a report card of the district's financial status, which includes processes for anticipating future financial solvency, as well as providing transparency for public finance, public education finance. Hey, I practiced this earlier and it worked. I'm pushing it. Not working. I promise I practiced.
Where's the tab?
Oh, I turned it off now. Oh. Okay, sorry, technical difficulties here. Okay, so what the first report measures, there are indicators that measure this report card. First, we have, there are 7 indicators now that there used to be 21, so it has significantly dropped. We have 7 indicators, and 4 of them primarily are under the external audit information, or actually the audit report. The first indicator we have is the year-end filing. Was the financial statement completed and submitted to TEA on time? The second indicator is the unmodified opinion. Is there an unmodified opinion on the financial statement? Were the financial statements given a true and fair view of the financial position, as well as adhering to the accounting requirements? The third indicator is the PEMS data. Did the PEMS data that was submitted to TEA, was there a less than 3% variance with regards to the audit report? The material weakness indicator, were there any material weaknesses with internal controls over the financial reporting for the local, state, and federal funds that are reported within the annual financial report? Then our 5th indicator, which is regarding debt payments, was there compliance with the payment terms of all debt agreements, or basically were the debt payments made on time? The 6th indicator is net assets. Within the governmental activities, is the total unrestricted net asset balance greater than 0? And then finally, the 7th indicator measures the administrative cost ratio. Was the administrative cost ratio equal to or less than the thresholds that the report is reporting? So, since 2002, Alvin ISD has once again received a superior rating, so for 13 consecutive years. For a full-blown report of the first report and definitions, it is posted on the website, as well as it was provided as a handout tonight. Are there any questions? No?
Are there any questions from the board?
Okay. All right, thank you.
And thank you.
Great job, Ms. Ryan. Thank
Appreciate
you.
that. And congratulations.
I'll leave it.
Okay, we are now out of the public hearing portion of the agenda, and we are going to be having 3 more presentations this evening. And the next one on the agenda is the financial audit.
Well, good evening, President Harris, members of the board, and Dr. Gilcrease. I'm pleased to present the results of the fiscal year 2015 audit. As I know the board is aware, but about 2 weeks ago, we met with the audit committee members to go over the results in greater detail. And what I'd like to do is just give you the highlights of our audit and some financial information, some of the key financial information, and then take any questions if that's okay. Or you can stop me as I'm presenting through the slides. As you know, when the end result of our audit is to issue an opinion, not only over the financial statements, the figures presented therein, but also over the compliance over your major federal programs. And so there are 3 types of opinions that any entity can receive. It can be an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance, and it's stating that you can rely on all the numbers presented therein, that they're materially stated. If you move into the yellow category or the modified category, that's stating that you can rely on all the numbers except for XYZ. If you enter the red zone, that's a disclaimer of an opinion. That indicates that we cannot issue an opinion and the numbers presented cannot be relied on. So for fiscal year 2015, Alvin ISD received an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance. So kudos to the board, to the members of management, and to all the staff that have worked very hard to attain this result. In addition to the opinion, we also have to report any internal control issues. So there's 3 types of internal control issues that we would report to you. It'd be a control deficiency, a significant deficiency, and a material weakness. And as I listed those, they get worse. A material weakness being the worst. And as Ms. Ryan indicated, TEA really hones in on material weaknesses. But again, I'm pleased to report that we don't have any findings. No control deficiencies, significant deficiencies, or material weaknesses, not just only the financial statements, but also over compliance with your major federal programs. Again, great news. In addition to the federal compliance for the programs that we tested, we also look at state compliance, and that involves spending requirements with state special programs, procurement, and other items like the Public Funds Investment Act, making sure that the district is in compliance with that. And again, we had no instances of non-compliance. I'd like to dive into the financial statements and your comprehensive annual financial report, which is quite lengthy. It's 150 pages or so, and there are 2 sets. The first one is dealing with the government-wide financial statements, and it gives you a snapshot of basically the district's net worth. It has all the long-term assets and all the long-term liabilities, which you usually don't see for budgeting purposes. You focus in on the general fund, which is the second type of statements, which are the fund financial statements, and that's on a modified accrual basis. And you're concerned with current resources and then current obligations, and that's what you're accustomed to budgeting with, okay? So let's discuss the government-wide financial statements, or the statement of net position. The total assets were $703.9 million, and the bulk of that is your capital assets at $420.7 million, with the bulk of the rest being $240.7 million. You have some other items, deferred outflows, which totaled about $14 million. Total liabilities were $579 million, and the majority of that was made up by bonds payable. You also had deferred inflows related to pensions. And finally, your net position was $137.4 million. So that could be equated to the net worth of the district. And you'll see some additional items here, the net pension liability, which it has affected governments nationwide. And the important things to realize with this is that you don't have to worry about budgeting in your general fund for this particular item. What the Government Accounting Standards Board said is, let's have all governments report that net pension liability attributable to the pensions they participate in, the pension plans they participate in. Well, here in Texas, we participate in the Teacher Retirement System of Texas, which is very well funded at 80% plus. This standard was really to, I guess, bring light to those plans that were not sufficiently funded specifically on the West Coast or the East Coast, but we're safe here in Texas. So there's nothing for governments here in Texas, school districts in Texas to worry about as far as saying, I'm going to have to write a check for this particular liability. And that's why it's on the government-wide financial statements. It doesn't appear on your general fund statements or any fund financial statement for that matter.
Can I,
Yes.
if you go back and look at the total assets
Yes.
and those two numbers, the total is 703.9.
Yes.
And then you look at cash and capital assets. Should those two numbers equal that top number?
No, those are just the majority of what makes up those amounts. Yes. Good question, though. If we move over to the general fund now, and this is what you're accustomed to seeing on a monthly basis, on an annual basis, and I'd like to discuss, you all had budgeted for a decrease to fund balance of $2.2 million, and the final decrease was about $2.5 million. Ending fund balance was $74.2 million, and if you recall, there was about $11.9 million in transfers to other funds, and what's most notable is the $4.7 million into the internal service fund to recoup any additional cost or losses in the internal service fund for benefits, $3.9 million to capital projects, and $3.2 million to debt service fund. And that is necessary to keep your tax rate down in the debt service fund. And so with the $74.2 million in fund balance, you have that flexibility to keep your taxes down, and you've done that with that transfer to the debt service fund. So that was a great decision on your part. General fund revenues, if we dissect those, and the numbers here, as I've been told by my staff, are quite small, so I apologize for that. But if we look at total general fund revenues, that totaled $182.5 million. Last year, there was $184 million. And if you notice that your property taxes did increase by about $5 to $6 million, but your state aid did decrease. And and I know you're familiar with it, but there's always an inverse relationship between property taxes and state aid. So the more you collect in property taxes, the state holds back more money. So there's always that inverse relationship, and you can see that here in the graph. As property taxes increased, your state aid decreased as well. Other state revenues were $10.5 million, where they were $8 million last year, and federal revenue was $1.2 million, where it was $1.8 last year. If we look at your general fund expenditures, total expenditures were $173.7 million. So you had approximately $22.5 million increase in expenditures, and about 12.4 million of that was in payroll cost. Function 11 alone saw about an $8.8 million increase, but I want you to see that green area. 58% of your costs go to instruction, and TEA wants you to target to have at least 55%, so you're doing exactly what is expected of school districts across the state, and you're at 58%. If we move over to the debt service, you'll see that the fund balance increased by $1.8 million, but as I stated in the last few slides, that the general fund actually transferred about $3.2 million over to the debt service fund. So that helped. If had the general fund not done that, you would have seen a decrease in the debt service fund balance. The ending fund balance was $13.7 million, and you did have a debt service rate increase from 28 cents, approximately 29 cents, to about 37 or 38 cents. And with that general fund balance and those continued transfers, you're able to keep that debt service rate down. But as you know, in order to set the effective tax rate, you have to adjust this tax rate appropriately. And something else to note is that your property taxes, the bulk of it, the large amounts, don't start coming in till late fall. You know, the taxes are levied in October, but right after the year is over, you have a significant payment to be made in August of 2015. So in total, you have about $32.6 million that's due August 2015 and February of 2016. But right in August of 2015, 15, you owe about half of that. And so if you look at your ending fund balance at 13.7, that's why it's important to have sufficient fund balance to cover that August payment, because your new property taxes don't come in till the next fiscal year. Any questions that I can answer at this time?
Good job.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anything to make any snarky comments about the state government?
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can, if you want to. Congratulations on the clean opinion. It's wonderful. Okay, next on the agenda is another presentation, and it's going to be elementary number 17 at Shadow Creek Ranch site. It's a schematic design.
Yes, good evening. We are here tonight to give you a look at elementary number 17. It's in the queue thanks to the wisdom of our constituents. It was part of the previous bond election that was just passed, and so it's queued up to be delivered as soon as we can get it designed, permitted, and built. You see here, since the middle of the summer, we've had a design team of a great group of professionals from across the district who've been working to help draft the program and the content for what needs to be included in this particular elementary school to make it a viable and great educational opportunity with all the instruction necessary to be able to provide for our kids. Taking a look at where it's located, this is our overall district plan, 250 plus square miles, and this particular elementary is on a site up in the area off of 288, the southern part of Shadow Creek Ranch. Again, the design parameters will be, this will be consistent with our other elementary schools that we're building with a capacity of 800 students, pre-K through 5th grade, a little over 100,000 square feet, and again, opening in the summer of 2017. It is in the city of Pearland, a great partner for Alvin ISD. They work in collaboration with us, and they are part of the folks who are reviewing for building and energy codes that this particular school will be built to. And so honing down a little bit to give a little bit better identifier as to where this particular site is. It's located on Broadway, at the intersection of Half Moon Bay and Broadway, to be exact. There's a traffic light at that particular intersection, as you see over here on the east wall pointing. That elementary school is in the southern section, and it is the last of the 4 elementary school sites that were allocated and provided in the Shadow Creek development. You see that it's in close to it, or not over to the west of there is York Elementary, and our new high school is across the street and over to the east of where this elementary will actually be. This is Pearland Town Center, to kind of give you an idea more specifically where that particular school site is. I want to show and share with you the site plan. It's a long linear site plan, or site actually, a little over 13 acres. The long dimension is north and south. And so orienting on this particular slide, north is to your right, where you see Clear Lake Loop there in Shadow Creek, and the left is Broadway Street. That is a signal, a traffic signal at this intersection right here. Parent traffic and drop-off would be off of Half Moon Bay. It circles around here. During peak traffic hours, anyone who needs to get to the front door or move into the building will be allowed on this outside lane to pass on through and come into the parking lot and park. Our parents who are needing to park and come in rather than drop off can also come around off Clear Lake Loop and park over here in this parking that's actually on the southwest corner and under canopies come into the front door. The front door of the building is situated right here in this location, and the buses will be directed for the most part come in off of Clear Lake Loop. Consistent with some of the things that we talked about in the board workshop. And again, let me orient you to the front door. You come in, and it does have a security vestibule before you can enter into the building. It provides to direct people through the front office. Main administration is in this area with the nurse's office and clinic right here. As you come into the building, It expands up and out because the library becomes a major focal point here. It's a 2-level library, so the volume, again, extends up to give a great element of openness and access to books and the library itself. It has a reading kiva that will accommodate 2 classes. The younger grade levels are accommodated and provided for on the first floor. Kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, being over here in this area, pre-K with restrooms attached to those classrooms, first grade back down over here in this area. You can see that because of the consolidation of this plan, it provides all the amenities we need, but still leaves all of the instructional spaces in close proximity to the things that they break out of class to go to every day, lunch being one of them, music and PE in this area and art in this area here. So the plan is consolidated and allows minimal trip distances to be able to get to and from the essential elements that those students and kids need on a day-to-day basis. So kind of coming in and visiting with you, the color palettes for the inside finishes are being developed right now. The intent is that in the front foyer we would have a terrazzo product. We will, as we spoke in the board workshop, we'll have some alternates for some of the finishes, trying to see if the price point and the budget will allow for terrazzo in the commons area throughout the hallways on the first floor. Terrazzo is a good product that's sustainable, easy to clean and maintain, looks great, has a little higher price point than some of the other finishes, but over the long haul in a 50-year life cycle, it's well worth it if we can provide and get that into the budget. Up on the second floor of the building, and actually this is as you walk into the front door, it's perspective of the library so that you see that the building opens up and is inviting for folks to come in. So in events where parents and family members are coming, it has the opportunity once right inside the front door to be able to stage some events and has an inviting and appeal to it, welcoming people as they come in the front door. The second floor actually is stacked. It actually bounces out this wall here a little bit because this second floor cantilevers out over the sidewalk on the front to help provide for some of the covered space for drop-off and pickup outside of the front door. Grade levels 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th are up on the second floor. It has some great breakout areas where 2 classrooms could move into some of these orangey looking zones and have cross-curricula teaching and instruction. Actually, the library extends up through the second floor right here, so it gives you the viewpoint of being able to look over into the library. Hopefully, appeals to kids then to want to go to the library and participate there. Again, from the second floor, the proximity to the cafeteria, PE, music and art, which is on the first floor in this area, is just down the stairs and real close, easy access to all those things that those children will be using throughout the day. Backing up just a second, as a 2-story, obviously, we have to put an elevator in here. This was a great question, a great board question earlier, and that is the elevator is situated right here. It does have an exterior wall that serves. It's right there at the commons area and the library, and that wall will have a vision panel in it so that you can see administrators or anybody who's on the first floor as the elevator's being used. You can see into that elevator for control and management and to be able to make sure that the elevator's being used appropriately and that everybody in it is safe and secure. And want to move to identify a few of the project features. Again, it'll meet all the district curriculum and programs, durable and economical finishes, energy efficiency. I need to speak to that just a second in that it will continue with this elementary school to design mechanical and electrical systems that provide for best indoor environment along with efficient use of utilities. Our recent schools, the last 5 schools that we've built, operate on an annual basis at about 60% cost for utilities when compared to all other schools and schools in all the districts here in the greater Houston and Gulf Coast area. So we plan to continue with that. We've been able to do that and accomplish that without increasing the price point of our schools. Our schools are being built, and this one as well will be built in a moderate price range, consistent with the standards here at Alvin ISD, yet meeting and going above and beyond in its ability to accommodate the instructional and educational needs of our kids. This is the elevation of the school. You see that we've got several different types and designs of masonry. The front entrance of this actually has some primary colors, a few glass panes that are primary colors, which created the environment of an elementary school. They are a little bit playful, so people identify with that. It is attractive to the youngsters and makes it feel like an elementary school and not an instructional institution for secondary. So that helps identify it as just as that. You'll see here that we've honed in and given you a blow-up of some of the different masonry products that'll be used. The tones and the colors, when it's on electronic screen or slide, aren't exactly true. We shared with the board and showed you those color palettes for those masonry products at last week when we were together and discussing and talking about the elements of this particular elementary school. I'm going to back up just a second because it's important here. This is the main drop-off zone for the parents, and so you see that we have quite a long stretch of covered walkway to protect the kids. It's on the south side of the building, so even in the wintertime when we have a norther blow-in or a blowing rain that comes in from the north, the building and that canopy will help provide protection for those children when they're dropped off and as they're waiting later in the afternoon. And so the project timelines are that construction documents will continue to progress and they'll complete soon after the first of the year. We'll be putting those documents out to bidders. We'll be doing competitive seal proposal as the contracting method for this elementary school. Permitting will be going on simultaneous when the general contractors are working to prepare their proposals and bidding on the job. Construction start in March and opening this elementary school in the summer of 2017. Are there any questions?
I do. I have a question. Back at in the two-story library and the overlook, how's that? How's that built out?
There'll be a rail. It'll be 36 to 42 inches high, and 42 inches high. We have similar banisters and rails at some of our other elementary schools. Haven't had any problems. We have a number of them at our newer junior high schools and at the high schools. Haven't had any problem with having those open areas.
Good. I wasn't worried about it. I just wanted to know how it was. Okay. Thank you.
It definitely won't be built so that it's a launch zone.
That's the question. Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. Are there any discussions with the city of Pearland about our children crossing 518?
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question. And let me go back to this right here. We have open meetings with the city engineer for Pearland that we're looking at this entire area of Broadway because again, just down here in this area is the high school. And so it will be essential to have a good plan, and they're working along with us, along with our traffic engineer. We actually have a traffic engineer that's employed. It's part of the code process that helps review that type of thing as well. And so the city engineer actually emailed me today, and we'll be having our second meeting to discuss this school zone and where crossings will need to be. And this particular elementary school will most likely have attending there children outside of Shadow Creek Ranch. The 3 schools that we have there, probably with the numbers coming from Shadow Creek Ranch, we need about 3.5 elementary schools. So this school will probably serve both sides of Broadway. And so it'll be essential to make sure that we have a plan for how kids that are on the south side of Broadway will get to school. Shadow Creek Ranch itself, as you see here just real quick, is it has a lot of great pathways that the developer had created in his planning that lead into this school site from east and west and north and south around Clear Lake Loop and whatnot. So a lot of great pedestrian and bicycle pathways within Shadow Creek Ranch coming into this school site. Any other questions? Thank you.
I want to say thank you for bringing this to us at the workshop last week, because I know it helped me to sit and ponder things for a week and be able to get questions like the elevator answered. And
well, a lot of
ready
great
to go
feedback. We appreciate the comments and the questions that came from the trustees from that meeting as well.
Hey, Pat, can you go back all the way to the end to the elevation?
Sure.
So the overhang that comes off the front of the building that doubles as a canopy?
This section right here.
Is there a significant cost difference between if we push that back or just by utilizing the building layout as that? Is that, I mean, the cost difference?
There is, but on the inside, we needed the room on the second floor to get the science labs and everything in the center core of that particular building. And so pushing that out gave us that ability. Those flex learning spaces actually occupy, and it opened it up and gave them the room to create those in there where multiple classes can break out and have that flex learning in there. And that was an essential element that was identified by the instructional folks as being of great value in the elementary schools that have flex learning. And so getting the spaces that were needed in there, this helped us solve both of those situations. With it cantilevering out, it provides the protection on the outside, but it gave us a space on the second floor to provide those functions. You know, if we pushed it back in, we would eliminate something that was defined as necessary on the inside of the building.
So even though it's a unique architectural feature to the building that brings some distinction to it.
Absolutely.
But it still
the price
serves.
point is negligible, but the impact is great.
And the front corner entrance there is storefront. I mean, it's basically storefront, but you guys have dressed it up with some color and some canopies.
You see that with the canopy, the eyebrow canopy across the front, with actually, we changed the dimensions and the direction on some of the light panels to make it just not the everyday mundane cookie cutter piece of glass, but essentially it's the same amount of material, the same price point as if we just had all the panes oriented the same direction. Colored glass, a little bit more expensive, but there's not that much of it to go over the top and create big expense. Again, the value for the bang for the dollar is significant by creating put the primary colors in there and making it, giving it the look of an elementary school. It's an identifier for it, a really inexpensive identifier for an elementary school.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thanks, Pat. Alrighty, next on the agenda is another presentation. It is the practice pool at Shadow Creek High School. It's the schematic design for that.
All right, thank you very much for allowing us to come back to you and give you an update on where we are with the practice pool there at Shadow Creek High School. As you know, back in June, we were directed to work with Stantec Architects, who is our architect for Shadow Creek High School and who is represented here with me tonight by Laura Socklaben, to begin the design of a practice pool there at Shadow Creek High School. So we began back in June, and tonight we've got an update on where we are in the process. As you can see there, get my little pointer. we'll use an aerial to give you an idea of where the pool sets in relationship to the site. This is Broadway out here. This is Kirby, which they should be opening up just any day now for the widening on Kirby, which is going to be wonderful that it'll all be open and the traffic signal all operational for the start of school. But this is Kirby back over here. Here's the pool that tucks in right nicely into this corner right here. Athletics and all for the campus that's right in this area right here. Athletics is on the first floor with the locker rooms, weight room and all, and then second floor is your gyms and all. So it seemed to be the appropriate place to place the swimming pool. It's got great access from coming in off of Broadway. You've got parking here. You can approach it from the north and park and have access to the front. You can approach it from the south parking lot back here as well, and we've got great access from over here to the southeast as well. It is a two-story structure, so several things that we had to keep in mind with the design. Number one, we have a high school that is already in design, and we wanted to complement the design of that campus, as well as make sure that the elevations that we had here to the north, on the northeast corner of the building, were still maintained as best we could, and yet to have good flow in and out. So this plan view right here gives you a little bit better idea of coming in from the south parking lot back here off of Kirby. You've got great access to enter the pool from this area here. From the north lot, you can enter it around through here. And as you notice in this plan view right here, it is a totally standalone facility. So on weekends or in the evening time, it can be operated without the campus being open. All of its systems are totally standalone, which in a corrosive environment such as a pool is a plus. So we maintain that ability to keep it separated, and there's some codes that apply also in that it has to be so far away from the original building, and we which kind of drove where it's set in this little corner right here. But you can see that we also went ahead and planned this little area right here. It's a little plaza area. We've got some green space right here, but it's a little plaza area, and some of the feedback that we received from Coach Veal and Coach Yoakum, as well as Coach Bass, and that having some space that when you do have a visiting team come in, a visiting meet, whether it's water polo or whether it's swim events, to have some space outside of that area that they can kind of hang out while they're waiting for their next meet is a plus. And in order to help complement the existing facade right here, this little area worked out real well. We think it'll be a nice feature. We've also got, coming from the campus itself, you've got, this is all covered, this canopy system right here, so you can get from one building to the other in inclement weather without being exposed.
Wouldn't want those swimmers to get wet.
I know.
The footprint of the pool itself, we wanted to maintain a pool that was of similar size to what we had out at Manville High School. There again, meeting with the coaching staff, they felt very comfortable with the size of that pool. We did make a few adjustments in it, just in the lane widths, minimize the buffer zones a little bit on each outside lane, and maximize the actual widths of the lanes themselves. But it is an 8-lane pool. I think it ended up to like 7'6" versus 7 foot on the lane widths. It does accommodate the 1 meter diving, which is up here to the north. You've got both your locker rooms for boys and girls back here. You've got your public restrooms out here. And another big thing that we were told was to try and see, is there anything that we could do to help out with for the spectators, to give a little separation between it, to where it didn't feel like if you stood up that you were, you know, just 2 steps away from the pool, from being in the water. So what we did on this right here, the seating is 155, but what we did is this area right here is raised a little bit, not a lot, but it is raised. It's got a rail in front of it, but that it does not obstruct your view. And this is the ramp that goes up to it right here. So as you come in, either from the north right here, or as you come in across from the campus itself, access for wheelchair access is very quick. Access up into the spectator area is very quick as well. And you've got quite a bit of deck space around it, but hopefully that it'll be a little bit easier to manage the mingling of the swimmers and the spectators, giving them a little bit more room. You've also got this lobby area out here that offers some good transition there again between being able to come and view and when you do have visiting teams that you can kind of get away and get out from the middle of whatever's going on, whether it's the water polo or a swim event. You've got your mechanical spaces, your pool equipment and stuff back in this area. There is a second floor. It is a two-story structure, a high structure. This is a high volume area in here, but you've got your mechanical mezzanine on top that's got your HVAC and exhaust system. Real heavy in exhaust, as you can imagine from a pool. HVAC and exhaust is a very big thing here. And as Pat was mentioning with the elementary school, energy efficiency is something that we kept in mind here as well. And the systems that we're incorporating here are systems that can still be worked on by our maintenance guys instead of a special type of pool pack system to where if one piece of it goes down, you lose the whole system. Our engineers have given us a system in here that is more typical of what our guys can work on. And if you lose one little piece of it, the whole system's not down. So we're real excited about that. Some of the perspectives on it as we went through the other day in the workshop. This is from the north side. Right here, this is the practice field that is right out here in the front. And the question came up the other day about having access to this area from. If you've got something going on, do they have access? And they do. This whole north end right here does not have a fence. And I think the proximity from right here to the front to that corner, and that we will also be looking to see if a man gate or a pedestrian gate needs to be placed on that side to where it can be even quicker to get over there. We've got to get that clearance from our athletic director, see if it's okay if he wants anybody out on that field right there. But we will be looking at that. That was a question that came up. But as you can see, we do have the architectural features of the existing high school. I think they've done a super job of working this into it to where they complement each other. And this is from the south. Coming in, if you were coming in off of Kirby back on the student drive area, here's the canopy that we spoke of coming from the main campus over to the pool to where the kids can come back and forth. Or even if you've got parents that happen to be in the campus itself that are going out to it, but they can be protected on that end. These are your locker rooms back in this area here, mechanical room back in that corner. This is the walkway that will be able to access to the athletic complex that's there. A little bit of the schedule that we've got there. We have been working on this since about the middle of the summer. We are due to receive bids on the 24th, I think it is, of November. We'll be back before you in December asking to award a contract. Our construction manager on this one it's a CM at Risk project. Our construction manager is Gamma Construction, who is our CM on the high school itself. But we'll take sub-proposals on the 24th of November and come back to you for an award of a guaranteed max price, as well as the approval for the overall budget for the project. Due to start construction right there in January, it is a 12 months we're looking at. Our goal is that when the kids come back after holiday break, they're at the end of 2016, first of 2017, that area will be ready for them to get right into. So I will mention that we have been working with our contractors. Great to have them in place at this time, as well as the architects, and also visiting with Kelly and her staff, talking about what this campus is going to look like when we open up. We will have a construction project, a pretty significant construction project going on right there towards the front of the campus when we open Shadow Creek High School in August. And we know that we have to be prepared with a plan in place to keep our kids and our staff safe and to be able to keep the campus open and available for any visitors that are coming in. And we will be establishing that plan as we move forward. and we see exactly about where we'll be in construction, then that plan will continue to develop. But be assured that there is one in place at the time that this will kick off, and at the time that we'll open our doors for Shadow Creek High School. We'll make sure everybody's safe, and we've got a good plan in place. So, any questions?
Questions? I don't think so. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, I don't believe there's any open forum. All right. We're going to move right on to number 7, which is our consent agenda, and there are 6 items on there. Are there any consent agenda items anyone wishes to pull?
I'd like to pull C.
C? Anybody else need to pull any? All right, then hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve A, B, D, E, and F?
So moved.
First by Ms. Metoyer, is there a second? Second. Second by Ms. Scheibel. All right, then, all in favor of approving consent agenda items A, B, D, E, and F? Okay, motion carries 7-0. So we're back to C, which is the request to consider approval of catalog requests for proposal. So to get this moving, do I hear a motion to approve this agenda item?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tonini, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Metoyer. Is there any discussion? Okay, then, hearing none. All in favor of approving the request to consider approval of catalog request for proposal? All right. All against? Any abstentions? All right, one by Ms. Winterstrom. Then motion carries 6 with 6 approvals and 1 abstention. All right, then moving forward is the request to consider approval of the financial audit report.
Board, you heard the financial audit presented earlier tonight. After a vote on that audit, we will be presenting those findings to the Texas Education Agency as required by law.
All righty then. Do I hear a motion for the board to approve the 2014-2015 financial audit as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Scheibel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickren. Are there any questions? All right, then, all in favor of approving the 2014-2015 financial audit as presented? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Board.
Next on the agenda is a request to consider approval for the dedication of a sanitary sewer easement to Missouri County Municipal Utility District Number 31, which is MUD 31, at the Sterling Lakes Elementary School site.
Board, in anticipation of future growth, it is necessary that we grant this utility easement to MUD number 31 for the future Sterling Lakes Elementary site. I do want to note that at this point that elementary school is not presently on any construction or plans at this time. So.
Okay, then do I hear a motion for the board to approve the dedication of an easement to the Missouri County Municipal Utility District 31 and authorize Alvin ISD administration to execute the final easement agreement?
So moved.
First by Ms. Winterstrom. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Tonini. Are there any questions or comments?
I just want to reiterate, we're doing this mainly just so that this gets done in preparation for a one-day in the future site.
That's
and not
correct.
that we're
That's
moving
correct.
forward, but it would slow things down tremendously and cost a lot of money if we did not do this now. Is that right?
It's always easier to go ahead and have that utility district go ahead and run those taps to where we can easily tie into them off of the property that we already have. And so anytime we find as they're expanding their services, we try to enter into these agreements early. It expedites things on the backside.
Okay. Very good.
So they know where they already want the easements. We're just granting them that right.
Correct. Yes.
All righty then. Hearing no other questions, all in favor of approving the dedication of an easement to the Missouri County Municipal Utility District Number 31 and authorizing Alvin ISD administration to execute the final easement agreement? All right, then motion carries 7-0.
And it also transfers a little maintenance over there too, so which helps on the front side.
All right, then, agenda item number, on the agenda number 10 is a request to consider approval of employment of personnel.
Board, in your packet tonight, you have two separate personnel employment, one for a speech language pathologist, and then the other for a secondary English teacher, right? Yeah, ESL teacher. ESL teacher.
All righty, do I hear a motion for the, to approve the requested personnel items as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Tenini, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickering. Are there any questions? All right then, hearing none, all in favor of granting approval for the requested personnel items as presented? Motion carries 7-0. Next on the agenda is the request to consider approval of initial staffing position, Meridiana Elementary School.
Board, it's that time for us to start thinking about how we're going to staff Meridiana Elementary School when it opens. And one of those first things is to approve these staffing positions so we can start filling them.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the initial staffing positions for Meridiana Elementary School as presented?
So moved.
All right, first by Ms. Scheibel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Metoyer. Are there any questions? What? Are there any questions? All right, yes, I'm sorry.
I have a question. I know we're approving teacher positions and other positions that would not normally start for many more months. Just want to go on record again that even though we're approving these positions, they wouldn't start just like any other normal teacher contract. When everybody else starts, that's when they'll start getting salary. And
That's correct.
we're not paying them ahead of time to.
We're not, no.
Just to get the positions posted and
That's
get that
helps us.
process moving?
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other
Go get us
questions?
some good teachers.
That's right. All right, then, all in favor to approve the initial staffing positions for Meridiana Elementary School as presented? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next on the agenda is a request to consider approval of initial staffing positions for Shadow Creek High School.
Back to the same thing for Shadow Creek High School. Allows us to go ahead and start posting those positions, getting them filled in anticipation of the 2016, 2017 school year opening of that campus.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve the initial staffing positions for Shadow Creek High School as presented?
So moved.
First by Ms. Pickering. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Winterstrom. Are there any questions?
There's some more good teachers.
Yeah.
Some more. That's right. They're going to be busy. Let's see then. All in favor of approving the initial staffing positions at Shadow Creek High School as presented? Motion carries 7-0.
Board.
All right, number 13 is a request to consider approval of administrative growth position, 1 elementary assistant principal.
As we've done in the last several months, this is an additional elementary assistant principal for York Elementary School. Their enrollment is over 900, and so just requesting some additional help. As with anything, once a new campus is open and we shuffle out student enrollment, all these positions will be shuffled accordingly, so.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the request for the administrative growth position, which is 1 elementary assistant principal as presented, and that would be at York Elementary School?
So moved.
First by Ms. Winterstrom. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pickering. Are there questions? All right, then, hearing none. All in favor of approving the administrative growth position, 1 elementary assistant principal at York Elementary as presented? All right, motion carries 7-0. Next on the agenda is the request to consider approval of administrative appointment, which is the coordinator of special education.
Board, to fill that opening that we have in that coordinator's position, we would like to recommend Ms. Elsa Garcia. She is currently a director of special education for Point Isabel ISD. She is not here with us tonight because of the distance to get here, but highly qualified for this position, and highly recommended, and our recommendation is that we employ her in that position.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve Elsa Garcia as the Coordinator of Special Education.
So moved.
First by Mr. Humbert, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Metoyer. Are there any questions? Hearing none, then all in favor of approving Elsa Garcia as the Coordinator of Special Education? Motion carries 7-0. All righty, I do believe it's your turn, the superintendent's report.
Yes, before we get started with the actual report, I believe tonight we have with us a Alvin Community College government class, right? 2306, Professor Temple. If you guys are here, go ahead and stand up so we can recognize you. All you students, everybody, yeah. Yeah. We appreciate you guys being here, so thank you. The second thing is that tomorrow is Veterans Day, and we have multiple celebrations across the district to celebrate this day, so pick one and go. There's lots of things going on. So the first thing on my report, in case you missed it, is that the bond was approved last Tuesday night, a week ago, and so we have those projects lined up. You're seeing some of those in the conversations tonight and the presentations that were given. And so, the actual bond process caused me lots of consternation, and now it's Pat's turn to have that consternation. So the next is that we had our initial school boundary advisory committee meeting last night and began to have that conversation. The next meeting is going to be held on November 19th at York Elementary. And lots of good conversation was had at that meeting about the fact that in a high-growth district, we're always going to be looking at attendance lines. And so Mr. Wells and his group, and then Lisa Butler and her group are looking at any way we can make this in the most innovative way to where we can make this as less impactful as we can as we continue to deal with that growth. The Alvin ISD Livestock Show that was held on October 24th at the Booth Agriculture Center. I just cannot go on enough about the CTE programs that put this in place. And so they brought in a record over $54,000 for students, and more importantly, cleared out the barns and got ready for the next round. And for me personally, more importantly, we cleared out the barns, right? So Earl Lammy Heaven is a good place. So yes, it is. This next from Stevenson Primary, I don't know if you've seen this, but these little libraries that were part of a grant from the foundation, Education Foundation, that were constructed and painted by volunteers and then have been placed out. I know the first day they put them out there, is Julie here? I don't. Yeah. Yeah, the first day they put them out there, I had to go replenish books in one of them because the kids had come and taken them, and so and they could check them out there and return them there, and so it's a great way to emphasize reading in the neighborhoods and make it accessible to our kids. And then last but not least, but Feed the Hungry Shelley Garza Memorial Food and Toy Drive is underway. And so if you want to participate, and don't forget to mark your calendars for Saturday, December the 5th. Here Santa will be there at breakfast at the Hope Church from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's all of my report. Oh, I'm sorry, Thanksgiving break, November 23rd through 27th.
Thank you. Okay, board, item number 16 is future agenda items. Does anybody have anything? All right, then hearing none, looks like it's time for adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, thank you, Mr. Humbert. I know I can depend upon you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Metoyer. All in favor of adjourning? All righty then, motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, board.